No, he absolutely carried last game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he smashed last game on the Nidalee. So it's one of those things where you put this guy down all year long. He always shows up when it matters, and Bengi to me is so impressive. He's a consummate professional as far as League of Legends goes.
Not a two-time world champion for nothing. Pretty good. He's in the lineup, of course. He will stay for Game 5. Rox had select the blue side, as you can see here from our champ select. Rise Syndra Olaf banned by Rox. SKT 2 ban the MF, and then Nidalee gets taken away. Aurelion Sol also the last ban. So kind of what we expected after the drafts you've seen 4 games into the series.
Yeah, SKT have been banning exactly the same thing the entire time, and then they ended up pivoting, and they dropped the Nidalee ban on blue side usually, and then they replace it, but with the Karma ban, or sorry, with the Jhin ban. But this time, they let it through, and they actually got rid of the Jayce ban, which is the ban that the analyst desk thought would fall through.
And it's been kind of interesting to me because I honestly felt like last game, Rox won the draft super hard. I think that SKT's composition was a little bit like all around because it didn't really have like a hyper carry for Zillion to be powering up, like not an Olaf from be speeding in, not like a Jinx or whatever to be reviving and bringing back into the fights and stuff. And to me, it really all hinged on the early game. They had to get ahead and they had to be able to control the game, and they really were able to do that. But a lot of it was kind of failings on Rox's side from the vision. We got to watch last game through Fog of War, Zirene, and it was one of those things where Rox never knew where Nidalee was. They never got deep wards. They never had vision. And it was such a massive problem for them throughout the whole game. So Bengi on Lee Sin, it's another strong early jungler, and they're going to have to do a better job of tracking.
Exactly. And that Nidalee was actually Bengi's first competitive Nidalee game ever. He had never played it before then, so Rox were probably banking on it going through and, getting it for themselves. But, wrenching the plan there, and then, of course, avoiding all the vision. Want to see what ends up happening here, and Rox kind of already tilted their hand a little bit with Zyra.
But I mean, this is such a good takeaway from the bottom lane. Like, Ashe has been great for Prey. Bang also had a win on it and looked good in his game 1 as well. So they've taken the 2 best range supports out of bottom lane.
That said, I mean, Nami is actually pretty strong here in the bottom lane as far as extra range supports go. It hasn't been super popular at Worlds, kind of because of these other guys, but I think it is very good in the bot lane. One thing I do worry a little bit for SKT, yes, they took away the Ashe from Prey, that's great, but guess what? Zyra Caitlyn is nasty. And I think that is a very strong composition. I also think it works incredibly well with Rox, with what Rox is showing so far. Because they have Jayce, if you draft Jayce, Caitlyn, Zyra, Karma, you set up that siege, good luck getting through. There's trap line, there's a plant line, there's shields for these kind of 2 pseudo AD carries with Jayce as the second, and they will crush turrets.
Ooh, Zillion. No, Faker, trusty Orianna. 2 wins on it in the series. Oh no, had to have a loss, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But look good. Obviously had the big shockwave in game 1. So kind of sealed it there at the 40-minute mark. But there's Jhin for Prey. And of course, Peanut. It's a game 5. He's going to go back to Elise.
Yeah, I thought he was actually going to play the Elise into the Nidalee last game. And when he went for the Olaf, it was really surprising because his Elise is very clean. And it actually plays pretty well into the Nidalee if you're able to catch her out. So now he's going for it up against the Lee Sin. So it's kind of that old classic jungler one-on-one status. Get those early ganks off, see who can out-pressure the other one.
And honestly, I think he actually did lose his game that he played earlier on.
He did, yeah. He lost his Elise game into the Olaf.
Yeah, so it is one of those things where
it's not good into Olaf. It's pretty good into Nidalee, though.
Yeah, certainly. And I think it's been so reliable for him. That was his 4th loss, I think, all year. He's like 25-4, 26-4, around there, something like that. So pretty incredible. And to me, I would love to track the junglers here in this game. I think that it is going to be very, very exciting. Bot lane will be important too, but I think with Lee Sin, with Elise, his signature champion here for Peanut, the fact that Bengi carried last game, and you're putting this guy, Peanut, on Elise, where he's had massive carry performances in Worlds, getting them out of groups. You have to remember, they almost got knocked out of groups. They were 1 game away from getting eliminated in the group stage, the #1 Korean team. And who came up big in those games? It was Peanut on Elise.
Oh yeah, Peanut on Elise. First blood, he hadn't gotten one all of group stages. Now, I believe he's tied for most first bloods in the entire tournament after then. Yeah. So he really stepped it up, got 6 since then. So absolutely incredible. And they're both early game junglers here too. So I don't think there's going to be any shortage of action.
And I agree. And it's also very exciting when you look at how much he stepped up in the quarterfinals. Peanut just hard carried that series, right? He absolutely was blasting people. And going into this, pretty much every analyst who had Rox winning was saying, well, it's because Peanut. Peanut is too much better than the SKT junglers. He will do so much more than them that the rest of the advantages won't matter. But it hasn't been the case, at least not against Bengi. And now it is Bengi versus Peanut, game number 5.
We have chosen wisely. Jungle focus it will be here. Peanut versus Bengi for all the marbles here in the semi-final. Winner goes to the finals and a chance at being world champion. Loser shamefully heads back home.
Not that shamefully.
I mean, I guess not. Semi-final's not
top
bad.
4, losing to, you know, if you're Rox, you lost to 2-time world champion. A lot of people were predicting to be 3-time world champion.
And you're doing better than you've ever done against them.
This is true. Well, a quick reminder, this is your final opportunity to sneak those questions in. Reach out on Twitter using the hashtag AskTheCasters, and we'll bring you responses during our final game here for this semi-finals. And Peanut versus Bengi, what a treat it shall be. I'm curious, because I think Peanut has certainly been the key here. We kind of mentioned it throughout the series. Bengi has smashed little Peanut 2 games in a row. Can he do it again? Peanut, I think, was in tough situations matchup-wise. We'll see what happens here in what should be very even, very skill-intensive, and really test the mettle of these 2 players.
And I would say, if I'm jungling, if I could choose which team I'm jungling for in this game, I would way rather be in Peanut's shoes. I actually think that Peanut has better lanes to gank for in general. Zyra Jhin is a lane where it's like, you hit 1 CC, that person is so screwed. You have Zyra root into the Jhin root into a free cocoon. That's almost a guaranteed kill. Whereas I think the setup for Bengi is like a lot worse bot lane, especially pre-6, right? If it's at level 6, then yes, you have Ashe Arrow, Nami Wave, Lee Sin kick in. That's where it gets stronger. I also think that Kuro has a chance to be able to get kills on Faker. We've seen flash tethers and those sorts of things where you can land the tether into a cocoon. So there are things that we have to talk about with that and keep that in mind.
Yeah, and it's always a little bit more unreliable when you have a Lee Sin versus an Elise to actually get the gank off, so you rely on your lanes for a little bit more gank assistance, which SKT don't have. And I'm looking at how they started here, and you usually don't start on the red as a Lee Sin. It actually slows down your clear for the rest of it because you don't have one of those buffs like the Krug buff. Sure, you have red buff to hit the camp, but the Krugs are actually a little bit better.
Yeah, and he will be moving on down, and I think it's one of those things where he might just try to do a really fast 3-camp clear and then gank. Nope, okay, he's not going to actually do that, at least not yet. You can still do it and delay your blue buff to give over to Faker later. A lot of people like to do that, but there are a lot of cheesy paths you can also do starting red, and he's not going to decide to do that just yet.
Yeah, and here's Peanut actually going for a...
Wow, he's going for very early.
This is a really strange gank, too, because Elises will usually do
last tether.
They're red.
Good flash from Faker. Knew exactly what was happening there.
Yeah, as soon as you see the flash come out, yeah, 100%, you got to go for it there.
Now, the thing is, that's 2 summoners for 1, and that's very big because Peanut did not use his flash. Also, we have to track the fact that Bengi didn't actually get anything from this. Usually the risk of going for these early like ganks, the 1 buff type ganks, a lot of people talk about the fact that it's not worth it because you will lose your other side of the map. And this is not something that happened at all for Peanut. He spends a little bit of time mid, they get double summoners. He's not going to get 3 buffed by any means. He's really only 1 camp behind. It pretty much doesn't matter.
Did he smite the wolf camp? I assume so. And that to me just kind of signals like maybe a very safe play, wanting to cover a potential invade. He does donate the blue over as well, so didn't really need it then, but Peanut gonna maybe get just a hair ahead here. I think he's a camp up now, although my math is awful. So the 2 junglers on stream can correct me.
Yeah, it's about that. It's very even.
Yep.
I mean, the fact it's basically the only difference is that Lee Sin didn't take the big blue buff, right? So now it's a thing is, can Peanut return gank? Can he kill Faker with no summoners, or will Faker have the advantage with blue buff?
Yeah, I actually think that Peanut's slightly ahead. Hits level 4 off the Scuttle Crab there. He's a little bit ahead. He knows he hasn't been spotted because he has the Raptor Smite on him. He does this all the time where he gets Raptor Smite and then he invades.
Yeah,
so
I think he's going to get caught here.
Knows exactly where he is. Great cocoon from Peanut. Going to try and seal it up here as the flash ready repels down. Perfectly played from Peanut. Leaps in, wants to kill. There's first blood. That was gorgeous.
Exactly. Peanut does it again. He just goes super aggressive after getting the smite, and he goes all the way into the jungle on the back of the red side. He knew that Bengi had started on that side, so his camps were respawning, and your jungle route will usually put you back up there at this time.
And this is just so smart from Peanut. Also the fact that they know Faker just based. Faker could not possibly be there to actually help him out, to be able to save him. And Bengi is screwed. As soon as he gets hit by that, there's actually no escaping it. Repel matches the little dash there from the ward, and he has to flash as well. So the only way that Bengi was actually going to be able to live was if he reactively flashed the cocoon or something like that, which is almost an impossible ask when it's that close out of the bush. And Bengi was also likely looking elsewhere.
Yeah, even then it's like, is there a way that he could have possibly Sonic waved the Raptors, queued to it, and
Possibly,
like
yeah.
maybe gotten out that way? Because I don't think I saw him throw his Q that entire time.
No, that's a very good point, actually, Zirene. And that's something that people who are, amazing on Lee Sin and very proficient on the champion do look for that kind of stuff. But if you're not playing the champion all the time, you don't always think about those little things. It's not kind of second nature.
Yeah, and it's high pressure too. Game 5, and the fact that he got the jump on you.
This is actually really bold from SKT. We saw them get that last...
again!
Oh, God. He's
Not dead. Peanut out of mana. Q lands. Bengi not going to follow, and Peanut's going to be safe.
Holy.
And that damage, like, Peanut has early Sork shoes.
Yes, exactly.
This guy's crazy.
That's actually something you almost never see from Elise's. You'll go Moby Boots if you're just going for the ganks over and over again, but he's just trying to destroy Bengi in the jungle with these early stats.
And it is something where, as far as like a one-round combo, that is more powerful, but it does delay your jungle item a lot, which means he's going to be lower on mana and stuff, and he isn't going to be able to stay out on the map as much, at least not as easily. So we will have to kind of track those differences.
Yeah, and a lot of Elises will actually be like 50-50 on which jungle item they start with between Talisman and Machete.
Yeah.
Machete is usually just the one that, I just want to get through it with the W on my spider form, clear faster, and then the other one, the Talisman, is more for I want to keep my mana up. So he actually starts Machete because he wants to do it a little bit faster, but also he starts on the top side and takes his own blue. So his first clear is not really affected by which jungle item he has. His second clear, though, as you can see, is definitely affected by it.
A little slower. Peanut, though, going to finish every camp here. This is actually a little risky, but Bengi's not here, and looks like he's got enough information. Bengi top side now, so we know that he's not in any danger.
Yep, and
Peanut
he does have
maximized
smite and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh, he does? I thought he
yeah, so he had his smite up, so he will be okay to do it, and Spiderlings can tank, etc. But it's one of those things, I think, if you're behind or even, you may not actually go for that full clear because sticking around is pretty risky. But the fact that he's ahead of Bengi means Bengi is kind of going to be scared. So I think that Bengi is very unlikely to have the balls to basically just go face check in there and find him and actually kill him.
Oh, yeah. Building aggressively.
Oh, yeah. Keeps building aggressively. Doesn't even go for the jungle item just yet. Just buys 2 amp tones. Just wants more damage. And you can see Bengi's kind of scarred already. He's like pink warding over the red buff, pulling the red buff all the way into the bush. Like, he's giving Peanut the respect that he deserves.
And for SKT, this is kind of tough because, Bengi, you wanted him to get stuff done early, and Peanut looking again for a gank here. They have double pink ward in these bushes, so there's no possible way they could get TP'd on. There's no possible way they can spot Peanut coming in here.
Goodbye, Wolf.
And Wolf is gone.
Exhaust down. It's actually enough. No, it's not even close. I lied.
It's that 4th shot. The 250 crit at level 5.
And a wasted flash by Wolf.
And bot lane, now being put behind by that, you have to look at top lane as well, right? Where Poppy is falling behind as far as that farm goes pretty heavily, and there's a lot of farm for Smeb to pick up right here. So he's going to be 20 plus CS up. That's very nice for him. Yes, it's okay for Poppy to be a bit behind, but you don't want to be that much behind that early. And once again, in mid lane, it seems like it's just a given that Faker is going to smash Kuro at this point. I mean, he's smashed him 4 times in a row in lane. He's 20 CS up, but it's tough because for Faker, in a lot of the games that they're losing, yes, he's still massively ahead, but they just avoid him. It seems like their plan is basically just, okay, let Faker win lane, but Kuro just don't die to him a lot. And we'll do okay elsewhere. And it's not even being BM. It's literally what they're doing. He's getting smashed every time, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think that's why Karma is just such a good pick for him, because you take teleport, you can get back to the lane even if you get smashed, and it's just something that even does well with no goal.
Yeah, I think in the matchup it's the best pick for them.
Look at his build too, right? Like the guy's not even trying to go offensive. He's gonna go Chalice. He's gonna build full support Karma from the get-go, right? Like, it's one of those things where they're fine with him losing a matchup because they have confidence in their other lanes, and I think they're right to. 30 CS up top lane, Peanut doing incredibly there. They're up a lot of gold for just 1 kill.
Ooh, Bengi though. Oh, for a snipe, picks Gorilla in. 2-4, Gorilla flashes, maybe a little over-eager, is going to die for it.
Yeah, he thought he was going to take the Q first and then try to flash it afterwards, but nope. Bengi waits.
Yeah, and I think either way, he probably was dead.
Yeah.
We even had the Ashe arrow still available there. So SKT did a good job not using more than they had to. And I think that Gorilla, at that point, when you get picked in as a squishy support Zyra, you got to be like, oops, sorry guys, I'm dead, and save your flash, because he may be able to avoid another gank later. He wasn't able to avoid this one.
Yeah, and even got the flash out of Bengi to set up the play. So at that point, you know, you've actually got a Summoner Spell advantage.
Flash down.
Oh, but Peanut actually, did Peanut just take the red? He did.
Ah.
Oh wait, no, he didn't. What was he doing over there?
He's just counter.
Oh, he was clearing out the pink ward. He cleared out the pink ward and established dominance.
And vision.
Establish your dominance in the jungle.
I mean, can't play bottom side, of course. No Bengi was there, so decides to just get what he can done here. Gonna repel to the Krugs and take the maximum as far as what's available there.
And honestly, this is a little bit scary as well for Duke, because Smeb is building a wave, and they can look to dive this. If Poppy dies, it's no longer okay, right? You're already down 30 CS, and it's going to be very hard.
But Peanut has no mana.
That's true.
He's had no mana for a very long time. I've actually never seen Elise stay out this long without having the talisman at least. And there we go. Has the upgrade, so now he'll start getting some mana back in the jungle.
And that's what the build is, right? That's what we talked about. It's the trade-off. You get that proc from having your completed jungle item, where you get a lot of mana back, and even to your point, just completing like the warding totem gives you mana regen because you have that talisman. So he skipped both and was looking to follow up more on these kind of one-round kills. He did find one in bot lane, to be fair, so the trade-off, I think, there is okay.
Yeah, because he actually will complete the overall item faster.
Yeah.
All right, so it was kind of like, I'm going to have a little bit of a weak point here when I stay out for a long time and have no mana, but eventually I'm going to be ahead of the Lee Sin.
Well, while we're on the subject, Zachary Jack asked, how should Elise build? We talked a bit about it, but Peanut, he typically does like the damage, but as he's noted, Rox doesn't really have a frontline tank here.
I think that's honestly fine in their composition, because they're going to play it in such a way where they're never trying to have a straight-up 5v5.
Oh, bad.
Oh, nice pick. But they're never trying to have a straight-up 5v5 fight where it's just like walk into each other and smack heads, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to poke with Jayce, poke with Jhin and Zyra and Karma, and disengage when the team comes in. You drop the Zyra ult, the roots, etc., the cocoons. And so in this composition, it's fine for him to build damage. You may see him kind of hedge his bets a little bit, and especially when people are behind, they often do build more tanky. But I would not be surprised to see him go something like Protobell to Rylai's second and build very, very offensive.
I think you get a Rylai's second, third. Really good job there from Gorilla to block the arrow. You'll pretty much always send it straight towards the Jhin whenever he ulties. And actually touching on that last kill that went over to Faker, or actually that went over to Bengi, onto Peanut. Peanut had flash up. He didn't respect it. He got Orianna ulti back. And you can see on his player camera, like, he actually looked like he got full tilted there. Like, leaned forward and then just fell back in his chair afterwards. Like, he couldn't believe that he just did that. He had such a lead in this entire game. They were up 2-0, and now it's just back to SKT with a little bit of the lead here.
Yeah, and honestly, if he goes for this, he could be in trouble.
Yeah,
SKT is
Banker as
expecting
well.
this.
The rest of SKT are around, but he does.
Oh,
get
Duke?
Where's he
himself
being?
Duke's going to the bottom lane.
Okay.
I was not like, whoa, into his death? Locked up? Damage, pray, Ghostblade, forces a flash.
What was that TP? That is something. Holy moly.
What was that?
It was
I'm
not
actually
good.
confused.
Repel, Peanut gonna have to splash this time. No, Kuro's there with a shield. Cocoon gonna miss, Bubble gonna miss as well.
Actually, super confused. Misclick?
So the misclick would be because maybe he thought he was going to flash over to the right,
Gorilla.
the bottom right of his screen, over the red buff, and he accidentally hit the wrong button and
Bengi.
hit his mini-map.
Caught.
Like, that's it's like super contrived.
Wave there as well. That's an interesting force from Rox. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Duke. I'm kind of just going to brush over because that seemed like a very big mistake. But
Yeah.
Rox are forcing with their poke to try and take an early mid outer. SKT defense.
And you can see how much SKT was willing to commit to defending that. Faker's Shockwave, he had no illusions. He didn't think he was going to kill someone there. He's actually using the Shockwave to clear the wave. So thin the wave as much as you can. When you clear the wave, they cannot stay around this early in the game and tank that turret. You know, kind of to Zachary's point, they don't have a tank. So that is one of the weaknesses that you have. You don't have like a Poppy just stand there and take a few turret shots. You can't do that.
That was slick. Bengi gonna have to get out. Still in range. Dodges the last few, and that. Kuro finishes it off. Very nicely played by Rox. And he got the red buff. All right, Rox, I think, starting to collapse a little better around a lot of what's happening here. SKT still up just barely in goal, but it is nail-bitingly close here. 14.5 minutes in the game 5 as we watch Bengi's aggressive invade here with Wolf.
Yep, Peanut comes out with like almost no mana again, gets a little bit back there, but
It's just a really nice
that was
launcher
really good.
view
Yeah.
over the wall. And he
Actually,
get him.
I think he got vision off of hitting the Krug there.
Yeah. Either way, I think Bengi was probably dead. I think he already used his ward hop and stuff, and he would have had to run very far to get out of there. But still a good job by Kuro and the rest of the team kind of collapsing and getting that punish. But not the end of the world for SKT. You do have to start getting concerned about the top lane. It's one of those things where, you know, Peanut may look to try to snowball this, and Bengi may have to try to like plug some gaps because this is a Black Cleaver already completed for Smeb, and that's the point where you can really start to kind of smash some of these tanks.
Is he getting flued? Wow,
Yeah.
he is. I like that choice a lot by Rox.
I think it's smart. I mean, give him the mana to just continuously poke to try to extend his advantage. They put a lot of eggs in his basket, and Karma doesn't really need it. Like, he's building Athenes, he's building mana regen, and very kind of supporty.
And that's actually super good for Smeb because normally you're going up against the Poppy. You're just going to rely on the Meditation Mastery to constantly get your mana back. And also Jayce and Hammer form, the W passive gives you mana every time you melee.
Yeah.
And a Poppy isn't a big threat to you. But you saw that they actually put Bang up in that top lane. Immediately it's like, okay, well, we have to back off of this. We can't continue to siege on this Jayce because he's just going to have infinite mana and clear these waves. So it would have really helped him if he was up in that 2-on-1 or 1-on-2. And it's actually just a really good giveaway there, like you said. Nobody else on the team is really going to need it that much.
Yeah, I think it's very smart. It's just, especially the way that they're playing the game, right? Oh, Gorilla's going to get caught.
Oh, he's actually dead from Faker, just there instead. Looks like ulti going to come from Prime.
He's coming in from behind.
Trying to pick somebody up. Smeb in trouble. Gets knocked up. Follow-ups there from Faker, but Kuro's here to poke in. Mantra E ready if he wants, but I think he used the Q already, and SKT disengage.
Yeah, they will back off, and I think that's the smart play. It's the safe play. They already got a kill. You know, no need to really risk anything there, but they are getting chunked out of it, and they have been kind of pushed off mid-turret.
Yeah, they would look like they were trying to feint that they were going to go to the Cloud Drake, but this turret is something that Rox really want, and they've shown that they want this turret.
Winning again
Oh,
for it.
Faker
They
gets
block up
caught.
Faker. Big damage. Peanut goes all in. Gets kicked out, but the turret dies. Lucky to be alive.
Did Bengi have Q on cooldown or not have his Q? Because he could have killed Peanut there.
I'm not sure. Maybe the Q hit a Spiderling or something. That's something that can very easily happen if you kick the Elise away.
Yeah.
But I didn't see exactly what happened there. Either way, it's a good force from Rox. Even though SKT win the initial trade, they're able to kind of push them back. And just landing one of those CCs, it's something we talked about earlier. They have the follow-up. So Cocoon lands into the Jhin route. They go forward, and let's see. There's a kick.
And then he throws the Q afterwards right here.
Yeah. Does he?
There.
Yeah, so I guess he just didn't even use it. I think he wasn't realizing that he could have killed him.
Yeah.
Just a misplay.
Yeah, he had to do it immediately.
Yeah.
Well, Drake instead perhaps here. Bengi going to start it. Of course, Peanut being low means that they can't really commit to try and take this next Drake. So double clap for SKT is nice. It's not a hugely snowball style Drake, but it's certainly good.
And the thing is, these games have been going long, and Elder has actually been a factor. So it's more than just the buff. It's the fact that you're going to have true damage burn later in the game if you take it. And even more than that, if you dominate the Dragon control, you put your opponents in a position where it's like they must take or stop Elder just to stop you from getting it. And they don't even get very much from it because they don't have the advantage of all that extra true damage.
Yeah, and if you're the one who has all the Drakes, you can even make the call of trading Elder Dragon
Certainly.
on the other team for your own Baron. Like, you can make trades like that and just wait out their buff. It's not even a strong buff at that point. So, it gives
It's
you all
very
the cards
smart,
late.
I think, yeah. And something also to track, you know, Bang quite up in CS. So these are all things that are going to come into how you play the game as these junglers, right? Who do you protect? Do you kick someone in? Do you peel? What do you do? And, you know, as Elise especially, it's one of those situations that can be pretty hard. A lot of people think of Elise as like initiation only and stuff, right? But you do have to sometimes be able to make that pivot to play it defensively, to just peel for your carries, especially if they're really strong.
Smeb's got to run. Oh, great
nice
cue
cue.
from Bengi. Flash kick in. TP in from Kuro. Smeb going to try and get out of this situation. Kuro needs to make it in time. Wave is good, but there's the shield. Maybe not enough, but Smeb fighting to the bitter end. Whoop, finally goes in, but Peanut's able to get clear up on the back line. And now Jhin ulti going to try and lock them down. Bang, doing damage. He's going to have to tank a little bit, but the ulti stops there.
Yeah, Faker stopped him.
Oh, Bang walked into the CC though.
Bail out of the way. Duke taking damage as well. Very close, but just a 1-for-1 trade.
So off camera, Faker blows Ghost to get there faster and uses his shockwave onto Prey, and Prey has to blow both summoner spells to get away.
Yeah, so very impactful. And so much of these games do come down to which teams are moving faster, which teams are kind of creating this. And this is just beautiful from Bengi. No hesitation on the kick flash after he nails a very hard to hit Q through those minions. So they get the kill on Smeb here. Kuro was actually very fast with that TP, and Peanut's quick to move up. Great turnaround from Rox. But because Faker, nice call out there from you, Zirene, was able to force that out.
He tries to. Okay.
Still.
Yeah.
And that's actually pretty scary. He
Yeah.
about 90% of his HP with just a QW.
Without it, I was like, oh, he's almost dead. He probably got him at the ultimate.
Yep.
Nope.
I mean, smart there from Prey to cancel the ulti because he knew that he had to get away. I was not going to live if Faker did pull the trigger on the ultimate. So great collapse by both teams. You can see 8 kills up already, 4 apiece, and Rox up very barely in goal, but it's been so close 20 minutes in, and these junglers kind of just trading blows back and forth. Peanut, he got the early lead, he's building up towards that proto belt. It's so beautiful that in this game, the final game between these two teams, Faker and Bang are up, the big carries for the team. Peanut and Smeb are up, the big carries for their team.
Yeah, they are. And I think that one thing to keep in mind is that the gold lead on Smeb is, in my opinion, a fair bit less important than it is on, you know, like the AD carry roles and things like that, because that's kind of expected. Poppy's still going to have a lot of priority. Look at this.
Goodbye, Prey.
Man, that's the thing. Poppy, doesn't matter how much gold you have, it's still pressy.
It's so beautiful because you take her down, like she's out of the game. It's like, oh, you're 60 CS down. It's like, well, she still builds defensively. She still survives the lane, and she still does her job. But actually, like, the Ashe pick is really interesting. Just like transitioning over to that for a second, because it was something we had not really seen at Worlds. And people thought it was kind of dead. She had taken way too many nerfs. And in this series, it's just the pick that everybody is fighting over in the AD carry role.
Oh, Gorilla, nice follow-up on that.
Ooh, Faker, see you later.
Oh, and I don't think Bengi should have gone in for that.
Gorilla's out, that's too aggressive. Duke, Kelly Poppy gets 2 out. Peanut wants blood though. Oh, that's awkward. Peanut gets nothing.
Well, Faker does get caught there. They at least force a couple summoners out from Rox. You know, flash from Peanut was used, double summoners from Gorilla. So it's not the end of the world, but certainly not what they were hoping for.
That could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
SKT a little lucky there, I think. But Faker just caught in transition.
Yeah. Both junglers simultaneously try to get a pick. And you can see like Peanut, just from like scoreline, has been doing quite a bit better than Bengi. Bengi is the majority of his team's deaths at the moment, because he's making those plays. He's being aggressive, and he's sacrificing himself, like when he makes...
they're on
what?
Oh! Is SKT going to check this? Bengi's going over, but I don't know if they're going to be in time. Everyone's at base.
Oh, this could be a steal of the century.
He's the guy who needs to check, though. He hit it with a Q. That'll slow.
They're waiting. Bengi goes in. Oh! Oh my god, that's enough! Who's going to get the Baron? They go in! Smeb gets it! Rox Tigers still fighting, but
Bang's in there, though.
doing so
killing
much
everyone.
damage, and Smeb going to try and turn it around, but SKT...
Oh my god.
Woo!
That right there. No smite for Bengi, and he makes the play of killing Peanut and throws it all up in the air.
Just incredible. And SKT is going to be able to push off this. That is really bad for Rox. Yes, they get the Baron, but they lose 4.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to lose probably a couple turrets here, too.
And Poppy actually gets quite strong off of that, too.
4
Triple kill
kills.
going over to him.
Yeah, just brutal for them. But that was so... And you know what? The thing is, it could have been so much worse, actually, for Rox, because Bengi actually hit his second Q on the Baron. If the Baron died like a split second later, he goes back in with his smite and gets that. So this is just beautiful from SKT as a whole.
Oh.
And look at the commitment.
So Peanut's eating back spikes.
And he kicks him back in to Bang, who is there doing the damage. Ward hops back out. Bang flashes in, knowing they are going to have an all-in fight here, and they're able to make the collapse with Duke coming in from the other side. SKT looking like they were caught completely out of position. Just beautiful.
So the Baron, when you have more people behind it than in front of it, it does back spikes and they stun. Peanut actually ate some back spikes, got stunned, so he's in this strange position. He starts moving again, he gets back stunned as Bengi is coming in and gets kicked back. So the fact that SKT, and like if you look at that again, it doesn't look like Rox are all behind the Baron or anything like that. It's the fact that the Baron is actually detecting like Bengi's behind it, so it's actually adding to the number of people behind it. It's like, oh, we should back spike now.
And like, I mean, look at Peanut's items now. I am 90% sure he didn't have the proto belt when that Baron was started. So greedy from Peanut. Almost gets himself caught there again. And that was a weirdly desperate looking play from Rox when they're not that far behind.
So there was something where they have the ability to like tank it up with Spiderlings and stuff. And to be fair, they were seconds from getting that.
Yeah.
And now Rox is likely going to have to give this up. And Duke gets caught, or rather Smeb gets caught.
Smeb in trouble. Q's away, but
TP coming
teleport's coming in. It is Duke, of course, taking no TP this time. Bengi gonna chase tag
Go.
Kuro, insta slam. Kuro gonna get knocked back.
we got Prey.
Amazing kick back into the team, and Prey is kiting it out, but he can't quite do anything, and SKT are going off.
Duke is pretty much invincible now. The fact that he's picked up so many kills, he'll actually dive this turret, and he might even get away.
Oh, big damage from Smeb, but it's not enough. SKT, too aggressive, not quite.
That was, I think, a definite overchase from SKT. They should have just gone right back to the Dragon, take that Dragon. They will head back over there now, but it is a lot riskier at these low health points. And this is honestly pretty crazy from SKT. They're willing to make these decisive plays. They're coming up huge in this last game, and Bengi, kicking in Prey is really what kind of secured that fight. And him and Duke communicated well to be able to all pile in on this. So Bang nails the arrow. Wolf follows it up. Triple CC on him there. The TP is already coming in, and Bengi able to come in from the side here. Ward hops in, nails it, and then kick flash.
That was so sick.
Yeah. Bengi's Lee Sin is really clean. Like, when he starts getting going, these kickbacks, I don't know if you could actually do them any better.
Very, very good.
He kicked someone back in after Poppy ulti.
I know.
That's not okay.
Yeah. He does this over and over again. Like, he's actually very consistent here, but
And you know what the big problem now for Rox is? We talked about how they don't want to do that 5v5 where you smack heads. Guess what? You have to now, because SKT is ahead as the hard engage comp, as this comp that wants the 5v5 queue. Poke comps need to kind of stay ahead to be super relevant, because who's going to deal with the 5-0-2 Poppy? This guy is going to be pretty much invincible, just charging in at your team, and creates so much disruption that anyone who gets CC'd, you have to bail out, right? Ashe arrow shoots in, Poppy's charging in, you can't stand and fight because you can't kill the Poppy fast enough, so whoever gets CC'd is the guy who gets left behind. It's kind of like one of those situations where a bear is chasing you and your buddy, well, guess what? Whoever can run faster gets away, but you don't both get away.
aren't you supposed to, like, play dead or something?
Not the point, Zirene. You're dead for real. You got gray screened.
Ask the casters how to run away from bears. How do you get away from a bear?
How do you get away from the bear? Well, you trip Zirene.
Well, it is looking a little tricky. SKT continuing to pressure, and we kind of saw a lot of peanuts passing early on. We did see that he wasn't really going bottom side at all, and saw Bengi go the Peanut caught. Gorilla knocked up.
Gone.
Slam back in. Peanut going to proto it up, and a great double ulti from Duke. He's going to keep it good. Bengi goes down. Smeb actually safe-ish for now.
Yeah,
has the flash ready, firing away. Here comes the poke. They need the kills. Duke locked up. Damage getting taken, but it's Poppy. He's a little too tanky. Way too tanky. Still tanky. Getting healed. Oh my god, that's dumb.
Oh,
The
they
tails
turned
up
around
as
now.
well. And Bang, no, it doesn't have anything. Oh my god, that's not Prey. I mean, Rox just need to keep chasing. They want these kills. They're so integral. Faker tagged again. Kuro locks one down, gets Duke knocked up there by the bubble. And SKT gets
Faker's
tower but
looking
lose a
for-
couple kills, and Faker stops the chase with the ball, threatening.
Yeah, it looked like Duke got out of the way of the deadly flourish, and Flash was almost back up for Bang.
And look at Bengi here on the side. He's looking for that flank to try to get kicked. He goes in, and Smeb just executes him, takes him out so quick. So, that was a good try, I guess, from Bengi, but without his flash, he can't really make that play, because this is not a full tank Lee Sin, right? This is not a guy who can stand up to the damage like the Poppy. He dies very quickly. Smeb's able to play intelligently around him and kind of make that that kill happen. And because Faker actually used the Shockwave to initiate this fight, they could not really return the damage once it started getting turned around, right? Rox was free to chase them because there was not the threat of the Shockwave from Faker. They're looking once again. They want to pick off Faker, and this would be massive if they can get him.
Yep.
Oh, I think they might.
Ooh, Cocoon not gonna hit.
what?
Faker sidesteps it. Gonna go in, but Slim slams him. There's damage. Faker Shockwave needs enough. Gorilla flashes in. Shock Blast not enough.
Wow, they actually got a lot out of them too. Smeb blew his flash, and they got the Zyra ulti and Zyra
And
flash.
Yeah, that's 3 summoners, and that's the desperation, right? That's feeling like they have to do this because SKT's already pushing mid. They can go straight onto this turret if they want, but they will show the respect to Rox. They're not exactly sure how fast they can get back, so they want to get out of there. But Poppy in the bot lane, pushing that in. They push in mid lane. The gold lead is extending, and it's going to be really tough for Rox
And
at
Bang
this
is
point.
so farmed.
Oh yeah, and the fact that he has an Elixir of Wrath right now
Yeah.
for the upcoming Baron fight in about 15 seconds, or Baron coming up in 15 seconds, it's definitely a good choice here. You just like to stay topped off, and he's a big part of their damage, but so is Faker.
Yeah, Faker has hit his kind of crucial 3-item power spike on Orianna. When you have the Death Cap, your CDR, and the Void Staff, if you hit a perfect Shockwave, if you hit a good Shockwave, one of the things that's scary about playing as Rox is there's no one that wants to get hit by this, right? There's not like that beefy guy who can kind of absorb it. Sure, you don't. I know it's
Yeah.
You don't want to get hit by it on anyone, but like if Trundle with 5 items gets hit by it, it's okay. If your Zyra gets hit by it, she dies from full health. If your Jhin gets hit by it, he probably dies from full health. These are the things that they have to worry about, so they don't have that front line, and it's going to be a shielded Poppy charging in. They need to get fixed.
Poke again, bang, kind of caught, but Nami actually with so much healing.
Yep, and the Nami wave straight at where the Jhin is, going to try to interrupt the ultimate so he doesn't get that 4th shot off.
Duke here on the side, just looking, but to bring it back a little bit to the junglers, something that Bengi is doing here a lot now. Part of his position in this game has been vision control. So you can see he's been smiting the Raptors on cooldown to get that vision control. He's cleared out a lot of Baron vision, and this is allowing them to start this up 2-man. And because of all this work he's been doing that we haven't been seeing, it's been off screen. He's spent the last couple minutes prepping this, and now they're going for it, and it looks like they have a free Baron.
Yeah, so what you do is you start at 2-man, then as it hits about 1/2 HP, you have everybody else come in and zone, and then finish it off so it's fast.
Oh, Bina has to flash.
SKT just needs to back off now. That's all they needed. They back off, and while it may not look like much, Bengi was the one who got them that Baron. By smiting the Raptors, by moving around, by sweeping it out, by controlling the vision, setting that up, he was the one who was able to establish that for them.
And I love that he went sweeper, because so many damn Lee Sins sit on their warding totem for the entire game because they just want another ward to hop to. And it's really frustrating because during the mid game, they don't have a way to clear all this vision out. And so Bengi actually picks up the oh my god, Oracle's Lens augmentation, and he makes sure that he can actually get that Baron and sneak it.
Yeah, and now they are looking, but they're just pushing them back because you go straight to the dragon here, in my opinion. You take your 4th dragon, it's going to be 4-0. That means there's no possibility for Rox to get a dragon in this game before Elder. And that means that Elder is in that dire situation we talked about earlier, Pastry, where it's like you must take Elder to deny it from your opponents, but you get very little from doing it, and you have a big opportunity cost to go for it.
And Rox are kind of falling into that whole thing that people criticized TSM for, is you have a Jayce, but it's not exactly a Jayce composition that can execute during the mid game when you get behind. Because now that Jayce that had this gigantic lead, the Poppy got fed, he can split push, but Duke can now hold up against him. So the Jayce pick now is just a poke bot with the rest of this team that can get completely run over by this Poppy who's just stacked armor. So you're running into this problem where you don't really have a fallback strategy here.
It also doesn't hurt that SKT's 2 carries are almost flame horizoning their lane opponents.
Yeah.
Like, Faker and Bang are doing insane amounts of work.
They certainly are.
And the junglers have started this all up. Bengi fell behind early, didn't let it to turn.
A lot of the series has really come down to Barons and Baron control and stuff, right? And honestly, last game, I felt like Rox was in a pretty good spot with their composition, but they've tried to force a Baron, and that cost them the game. And I felt like that was really impatient. And although it was a good try for the Baron here, once again, it felt very forced, and it could cost them this game, but they're trying to start something.
Need to tag something. Kuro up in front.
Bang's here now.
Doing what he can, but Bang a little too much DiMaggio.
Yep. Tidal wave again from Wolf to interrupt the Jhin ultimate. He's doing it every single time.
But the problem is, once again, we have a Duke up on the top side. He's already working on this turret, so they're getting gold where they need it, and they're playing it safe, disengaging. And the poke matters less because you have a Nami who actually, is able to heal up a lot of this damage, and Faker's able to shield out a lot, but Bang may be caught.
Damage. Stranglethorn's going to force the flash out from Bang. Poke again in onto Wolf. Smeb lining up a target. SKT flashing away.
There's a good Mikhail's there to get him out of the root so he doesn't get knocked up by the Zyra ultimate. You can see Bang with the QSS and also Wolf with the Mikhails. And it's funny because one of the things that has been happening to Zyra supports is that they don't buy Mikhails. So that's why Ashe is just such a good pick against it, because you're pretty much always going to stun that person for the full duration.
Yep. And I will say, as far as it goes for Rox, this is a composition that's a little bit similar to something that SKT ran in groups where they had this kind of disengaged team. They can last for so long. And if Rox plays it properly and they continue to hold on, they do still have a chance in this game, right? They have a lot of CC. If you catch the right person out at the right time, you can turn the game around. But they're going to need to play it very, very well. There's very little room for error at this point because one more team fight for SKT will likely mean the game.
And you're talking about like the disengage composition. Like, I'm just thinking about it here. If Duke is in the Poppy and he's a Kennen, it's an absolutely completely different game with just that one single pick. Because then it's all about, can he actually get in there? And then they don't have that beefy tank like they do now. Because there's so much wiggle room for Duke to do whatever he wants with the items.
Oh, the arrow caught Gorilla.
He gets out of it though. QSS's it off, I believe, because he knows he's the big arrow target.
Yeah.
Buys a QSS. That's a support item slot taken up on a support that wants to deal damage.
Has to do it. SKT with the Baron buff. Four dragons as well is nice, and the Elder's coming up in a couple minutes. This is tricky.
It is.
But
It's a little bit better for Rox, you know, the Ashe arrow getting used there because at least it's not the Essence Reaver build.
Yep.
So it is giving longer CDR. He's going kind of auto attack build, and that is the trade-off. That there's more opportunity cost. Whereas we saw Prey, you know, favor the CDR builds, and he can kind of shoot them out more willy-nilly. And he was incredible on that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Just throwing those arrows every single time he could, and then Bang goes for the double zeal. So he's a little bit more in combat damage.
Yeah, it's very auto attack focused. And oh, he gets the flash out of Prey. That's big.
And the heal too.
Burns everything because he knows Faker 4 damage items.
Ooh.
That's
he trades the Zonias for it. Good guy, Faker.
One of those cooldowns is not like the other.
That's one of those sickening feelings, though, where when you press the wrong button like that, and you're like, oh god, they're gonna CC and kill me. Oh god, I
Oh, it feels so bad.
Yeah, but luckily for Faker, his team's there. Didn't end up really mattering too much.
Yeah, team is also just constantly pressuring all these lanes. Duke's still working on the top side. And again, we kind of moved away from junglers because really, we've been grouped for 10 minutes at least, and SKT are just constantly pressuring Rox. They need to keep them out.
And that's really what happens with junglers in competitive, is there's a lot to talk about specifically with the jungler in the early game because they're making the decisions. And this is why a lot of teams actually have junglers as shot callers early in the game very often. And then they kind of rotate to other positions doing a lot of shot calling late game. Because it's more about just team play at that point. It's more just about them grouping. And really, these guys are going to be controlling vision and trying to get camps where they can. But it's essentially just their engagers, right? Like,
yeah.
You have Elise looking for a pick with a cocoon. You have Lee Sin looking for a kick in, and that's what they're kind of relegated to.
Yeah, not really a carry at all.
No.
Even on Nidalee, you're kind of just a poke bot. You can carry the game, and you can see what Bengi did in the previous one, but a lot of the times it's just a playmaker role.
And that said, I mean, if someone does face check Peanut or something, he can 100 to 0 carry.
Yeah, and that's why Bengi actually went for a full Maw of Malmortis, second item after his jungle item. Like, there's a Karma, and then there's this guy who has full armor penetration.
Oh, Kuro's caught. That's so bad.
Trouble. Ooh, Bengi follows up to the Q. Late flash means that he's going to get healed up, but still running in there for SKT. Bubble doesn't hit. Peanut caught, though.
Prey wants to set up.
Down. Yeah, Prey going to keep them out, but that's just defensive. Bit of damage there, but not enough.
And SKT could go to Elder now if they want. They're establishing vision control around that side of the map to try to kind of force these engages. They get a couple flashes out there. They get ultimates. They blow nothing, and they have the ability to threaten both Baron and Elder. We'll see where they try to go.
I think they go Baron because it's the easier one to clear.
And they have a lot of vision on this side right now.
Yeah, Elder just takes a long time, and it's really risky to pick up. Oh, or
go for some kills. Prey up in front, doing damage to the support, but he actually doesn't get banged. It gets taken down. There's enough heals.
Bengi in.
But that's it. Bengi kicks someone, I think.
Yeah, he got kicked as he got knocked away.
Good stuff.
I think he went in on the Jayce, and they like hit each other.
Yeah, Smeb actually, I think, buffered his E there. So that's something that's very smart to do. So even if someone tries to do a kick flash type play, if you have your E buffered, you can knock them back and mess it up and make it so they're always going to kick you away. So SKT right back to the Baron. Obviously critical that Bengi secures this, and critical for the rest of the team to zone out Peanut. So Duke is doing this, making it so it's not a 50-50. It's, you know, 100% chance you push him off, and it turns out it's better if the other jungler isn't there.
Yeah, when Duke picked up those kills at the Baron, it really screwed over Rox's game plan. Because now he just ignores everything. He can go straight after him. It didn't matter if it was Peanut plus another. I'm pretty sure he could hold 2 people there.
And that's the thing, like that aggressive Baron call from Rox, it was very close. But the thinnest of margins may have decided this game, and SKT, they're going to get this Elder uncontested. They are so strong right now.
This now becomes 2 minutes left, basically, for your chance at Worlds, right? You must hold for these 2 minutes, and this is where SKT is going to be disgustingly powerful. You get bonus true damage per dragon you have. So you have 4 stacks of dragon, plus the flat 45, I believe it is, that you get base, then 45 for every additional dragon. So you're looking at like 250-ish, it's like 225 or whatever, true damage for that burn for all 5 players. So even like Nami hitting you with a wave or whatever at this point does like a lot of extra burn.
It's insane. It's actually just like to give people some context, because a lot of people don't actually look at numbers on abilities.
Yeah.
It's like most rank 5 of basic abilities
do less than that.
That do damage are usually like 220, 260 if it's like on the high end. So it's like, that's like an Annie Q base damage added on to everybody.
And every auto, every ability,
Ridiculous.
So
And you can't reduce it because it's all true damage. So yeah, it's
even better.
It's tough. SKT also have the Baron buff to make matters worse. So this is going to be quite the defense from the old Rox Tigers, or going to be SKT smashing through for the win here.
And I think the other thing that makes it tough is that true damage gifted to tanks means that Poppy can actually smash Jayce in a 1v1 at that point. So it makes it really hard. Like, who's going to answer the Poppy? And they can actually even just look to dive. We'll see if they want to go for it. SKT is working on this turret. The turret's going to go down so
great
fast.
arrow finds Gorilla, gets out, Wave knocks him up. But the turret's dead, and SKT aren't really taking any damage.
Yeah, so you can see Faker just keeps putting the E on
Bengi. Little loose, no, he's okay. Peanut's not dead. Good protobot away, but they just lost the inhib, and stuff's starting to get threatened. They kind of caught Bang with a cocoon, but couldn't chunk him down. Faker gonna get locked up, but he shields himself in time. Big poke damage actually almost took him out. Very crucial shields from Faker.
Yeah, so every time they're sieging now, Faker throws the E.
Oh my god, this could be the game.
This is all in.
Smeb?
Oh, I missed Faker. Doesn't get anything.
It's those Jayce TPs, man.
They're
so different in impact from like all the other top players. Like Kennen flank TP, it's like Rumble ulti TP. It's like
Poppy TP.
EQ, hopefully I hit him.
Yeah, I actually thought he was just going to pull the trigger and go all in. Yeah, I was expecting him to EQ and then flash over the wall and just like desperation last play there.
Yeah, it's very hard for a Jayce though to do that because he always has to think about like the Poppy W stopping his Q and like absolutely ruining the play.
That's why I was thinking it was going to be a game-ending play one way or another. Because it is one of those things that, you know, if that does go bad, you're just going to die. And he plays it safe. Obviously, Rox still supremely confident in their ability to turn around games and to do things in these kind of unwinnable situations, or these situations that can feel unwinnable. But you know, SKT still has the Baron for a little bit. It's just about to time out, but they want to make something happen.
Elder dropped, I believe, as well.
Nice
so
repel.
don't have that. Good repel from Peanut again. Showing off the reflexes. Wave. Oh, it's all good. Feels really bad, man.
Yep. You don't get to use Jhin ulti 4th shot. He's going to throw it out at the same time every time. He's busting every shot out. But he can't get to the 4th one fast enough.
Found Wolf, good poke again, but Rox just have nowhere to commit to any of these picks. They have to like do full damage with the poke only, and they've got Nami heals and got shields.
And Duke is pushing in the mid lane, right? So there's going to be minions that are getting to the turret. They can threaten the dive. SKT is moving in and looking to go to the final.
Yeah, moving for the kill perhaps here. But, oh my god, he's dead. Bengi, big play there, just puts the damage in with a kick, and this is looking dire for Rox Tigers. Shockwave again going to get repelled. Peanut, he's got the mechanics, but the team just can't quite get it done together. SKT, another Worlds Finals on the horizon.
Every single time.
Series.
Every time they've made it.
They've made the world. In fact, they've won.
Yeah.
Now they have another chance to win. Be the first ever team to win back-to-back, but that's it. Rox Tigers. Heart-wrenching for the fans. If Peanut collapsing his player cam, but two-time world champions Bengi and Faker.
Look at Bengi, so excited there cheering.
Hey, let's go Peanut.
That was like complete contrast there. Peanut looks absolutely devastated, and Bengi, on the other hand, absolutely elated.
And look, Peanut, you can see him crush, understandably. He did his thing that game. He got ahead, like, there were more spots for Rox to really get some work done, but he couldn't do it. But Bengi, to his credit, the 2 games he did play before, man, he smashed Peanut.
Yeah, and Bengi actually wins every single game in this series. Bengi swept Rox Tigers. You know, that another guy, he didn't do so hot, but Bengi, you know, he wins all 3 games. Pretty incredible stuff from him, especially in a season when everyone was kind of doubting him. It's very impressive, and Peanut obviously killed. Incredible player.
Damn it, Duke.
That's rough. I mean,
yeah.
For Rox, they felt like this was their year. Everyone kind of was thinking that it may be their year. They win LCK. They come in as the #1 seed. SKT looks like they're struggling. It just doesn't matter with these guys. They just seem to win.
Every time. It's like SKT, they're struggling. They don't look as good. International competition is where they thrive.
Yep, win MSI, looking poised to now perhaps win another world championship. It's the dominance that's just unrivaled in almost any game. You know, it's one of those things where it's just a complete dynasty. SKT has just been unstoppable.
Amazing, really, truly amazing. As SKT, a lot of people said that looking at the semi-final, like, oh, this could have been the final.
Yep.
That series we got could have been a pretty damn good final, but it is just the semi, so we'll see SKT play once more. The Rox Tigers graciously bow out top floor, and such a great run. Peanut, I know he's disappointed, but he had such a great tournament there. Couldn't stop the veteran.
Yeah. In that moment, though, you know, you're completely running through all of the plays that you could have made. You had that early jump on Bengi. You shut him down. You were 1-0-1 at the start of the game, and then you ended up giving over a kill, and the game started falling backwards. Elise needs to keep that tempo up, keep that momentum up, stay up in items, because he had a completed Runic Echoes to the parts for Bengi, and as soon as that kill came through, Bengi's like, oh, we're back right on track, gold's even again, and that's what really sucks there. So Peanut, you know, he's thinking about all those moments, and it's going to definitely torture him a little bit in this moment. But moving forward, though, the guy's made a lot of fans here. Like, there's a lot of people who are now like, I love Peanut. Peanut took down Clear Love. He was able to actually go toe-to-toe and actually, I think, outclass Blank and outclass Bengi in some of these games.
I mean, Peanut's a world-class jungler. Like, no one's going to question how good
Especially
this guy
early,
is.
Yeah.
Came in, arguably the best jungler in the world. Is, I think, at least challenging that title potentially after his tournament and even that performance there. But for me, I look back. We talk about junglers. Smite's such a crucial spell. That Baron call, man. That's crazy to me to think that game may have just been decided on that 22-minute Baron call.
Yeah, and it's the last two games, right? Last two games, Rox makes a risky Baron call. They get super punished for it. SKT just pounces on your mistakes ruthlessly, and I do think that is going to haunt them. You know, those Baron calls are going to haunt them for a long time. And Peanut, to your point, you know, he's been almost unstoppable on Elise, right? He had lost 3 times in the whole year on Elise out of like 25, 30 games or whatever, like around there. And now he's 0-2 in this series on Elise, right? So this is the thing that everyone would never want to let him get Elise, and he gets it twice. He actually is poised to take over this game and do what he has done so many times before, and whether it's nerves or SKT just playing so well or whatever, he was not able to execute, right? Starting first blood, being a level and a half up over your opponent in the jungle, this is a game that I'm sure he felt like he should have been able to take over. And honestly, he very likely could have had he played it a bit better.
Oh, yeah, and you even think about that Baron, it's like, he has no reason to actually be in the back of the pit. Right, he has no reason
trying to block the Q with
to
Spider
be
Link, I think, is the only
in that
thing.
area, except for that, right?
Yeah.
But he's gonna look back at it and be like, Bengi didn't even have Smite, right?
Yeah.
You can't know that,
No.
but at the same time, it's like, oh man. And Bengi makes actually the absolute best play that you possibly can in that situation, and he's able to get the kickback onto onto Peanut, and he gets killed, and that's something that a lot of junglers do not do with a very calm head, because he didn't have everybody there just yet. They're still waiting for SKT members to trickle in, and he's able to get the pick off.
Well, such a great series there. Wonderful to watch. And don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow with more in-depth strategy discussions on the semi-final unfolding at Madison Square Garden. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be joined by special guest analysts Froggen and Honori. Midlanders and junglers, take notes. We'll get a close look at your roles when HGK takes on Samsung Galaxy tomorrow at 3 Pacific right here on Riot Games 2. However, that is going to do it for us on the Player Experience stream. For all of us here, thank you very much for joining us. We'll sing you now over to the main stream to wrap up the night.
그래서 좀 그냥 화이팅 정도만 했는데